Hey guys, I am back with Blythe Tait, former world champion. How are you doing today?
I'm not having a good day, I have to say. Unfortunately, my horse seemed to be off games today. I just had a disappointing ride and didn't finish the course, so very disappointing.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. What was the most challenging aspect of the course then?
Well, for me, I think it was the crowd and the atmosphere. My horse was very distracted. He wouldn't focus, and it's very unlike him. He's a good cross-country horse. My preparation has been great. He's been clear every time out this year. But today was just one out of the bag, and I'm not quite sure why. I'll go and make sure he's 100%, but the World Games for me is over, unfortunately.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. But do you think the weather had some impact on how your horse performed?
No, we've ridden in lots of different weather before, and it is windy, which probably made him a little unsettled. But I don't know why he just wasn't on song. He's a great horse, and it just wasn't to be today.
So the refusals were completely out of character.
Yes, he hasn't stopped at all, well, for as long as I can remember, to be honest. So why today, I don't know, but...
the energy, it's completely like you can feel the tension going on amongst everybody in the entire crowd.
Yes, I'm sure, but I mean that's part of the competition. I feel gutted because I was first for the team, and it was important for me as trailblazer to post a good clear round. So the pressure's gone on to my teammates now, but they're very experienced, and I hope that they'll be able to deliver.
Absolutely, I'm so sorry to hear about that, but I really wish I could go and see like any other rides you've got going on in the future. I'm so excited to learn more about the sport.
I look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks so much for joining
Cheers.
me. All right, well, now we're going to be going and talking a little bit about Nick. Oh, my dear sweet Canadian bacon. He's been learning so much when he's been here at this
Dave, can you tell me about your position here?
I'm one of two farrier coordinators for the IAPF, the International Association of Professional Farriers.
So you're in charge of making sure all of these horses here get their feet looked after?
Absolutely. We have several stations, one for almost each discipline. We have farriers that are accredited farriers at each station that are able to handle horses like this one that just came into the shop.
So this one that's just come in, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, this is a vaulting horse, and he needs some new shoes. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to take the old shoes off. We're going to make sure that everything is safe and his foot is prepared just the right way. We have pre-made, hand-forged shoes to fit this horse.
So Dave, you say he's a vaulting horse. What are the differences of the shoes that go on the horses of the different disciplines?
Well, each horse has a different job to do. They're an athlete. They're the best at their specific discipline that they do. Jumpers, for instance, have to have the traction and the ability to land correctly without slipping. Land, go medial, lateral, left or right, any direction. This horse is a vaulting horse, so he's going to be doing some tight circles with people doing some very acrobatic things on top of his back. So the shoes have to be made so that that horse can move 360 degrees any direction. The reiners, on the other hand, they have to have a sliding plate on the back of them. They'll slide 40, 50 feet on their back end with their haunches down into the ground and the dirt flies everywhere. Those are a different shoe. You want no traction on those shoes at all in the back.
How's the weather going to affect? Does the weather affect different kinds of shoes?
Different types, but the facility is so good they've went above and beyond to provide us with the best footing that you could possibly get anywhere in the world. The jumpers have the correct footing, the dressage horses, the vaulting has the correct, the reining has a dirt footing rather than synthetic like for the traction. They've done a great job preparing this.
So this is kind of like just whether you look at a sport like football with the different cleats that the athletes have with that. This is just like that.
Absolutely. Athletes, pro football athletes, they're the best. They're the cream of their crops. You see them walking around with ice on their shoulders. They're the best. They're prepared. When they get there that day, these horses are exactly the same. They're the best athletes. You'll see a bit of ice on them. You'll see the hand detail in the care that these grooms give them. They're ready to go.
And how many shoes do you think you'll be putting on horses this next few days?
Depending on the hurricane coming in, we may be changing and adding a bit more traction, whatever is necessary. But the teams have been very good about bringing their own shoes for their own horses that may have to differ and change a bit. We have the best equipment in the world provided by one of our educational partners that we can change the footing, we can change the shoe for the footing in just a few minutes' notice.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to go over here and talk to Curtis. Now, Curtis is one of the forgers for the horse Justified, who was a pretty successful horse. Congratulations on that. But you've also got this cool little product that you can tell us about.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of neat. I started developing these shoes about 12 years ago, I guess. It's a polyurethane horseshoe that's basically got a skeleton in it that allows it to be shaped to the individual horse. And what's kind of cool is a lot of these horses I've never seen them before, and they happen to be walking past on the street, and I'm like, oh wow, he's wearing my shoes.
Well, how can you tell if a horse is happier with this or with the other traditional one?
What it is a lot of times it's actually a nailing issue or something like that, but it's like us. Some people will maybe have different arches, different issues with their own feet to where they have special shoes. And some of these athletes, it's the same thing. They need different types of shoes. These absorb a lot of concussions, so some horses, it can really help them with that, like a foot injury. In some cases, the horses will go into these for a while to settle a foot down, quiet it down, then they'll go back into traditional shoes. We found actually individuals that have actually really excelled in them, and they stay in them through their career. So we've had horses like Mucho Macho Man that won the Breeders' Cup Classic. He wore these type of shoes through his career and ran in them for several years. I've had a lot of good horses that have worn them. Like Curlin was one of the richest horses in racing history. He only wore them for 1 year of his career, but he was in that year, he was Horse of the Year. So it's pretty neat to have that kind of success and seeing them going around.
Thanks so much, and I know a little bit more.